1012, and it gives me 1,250 feet. Texas.
Announced the arrival of their flight from Los Angeles and Chicago.
Explosion.
And welcome, everybody, to this Tuesday. That's what it is, Tuesday, June 21st, 2016 edition of TNZ Talk. The reason I'm chuckling to begin here is I just keep on, in my mind, thinking Donald Trump, evangelicals, standing ovation. It's just not all equating for me, but that's okay. I'm Tony Trupiano. I'm the T in TNZ. He is the Z.
Hola.
In TNZ. Richard Zombach. Why do you interrupt me every freaking day when I do that? Every freaking day. You know what? Tomorrow, you're going to open the show for the next 6 months.
Not every day. I don't interrupt you.
Every day.
I don't interrupt you every day.
Almost.
I don't.
Every day. Hey, listen. I was thinking earlier today, it'd be a lot easier for you to replace me than me to replace you. I don't know anybody with a first name that starts with a Z, like Zolnik or something. Or would that be someone's last name? And everybody that I know that has a last name that begins with a Z, I don't like them. So you could find a Tom, a Tim, a Terry, a Tony, whatever, a Trump. Just saying.
That would be awesome. Maybe I could get on his new TV station. His new cable channel.
It is time to sell your soul to the devil, my friend.
I'm starting to think that there's a lot
money
more
in that.
There's a lot more money on the other side.
There always has been.
You know, I'm starting to think maybe I should have actually, written for Fox News or something.
All right, so here's the deal. He being Donald Trump, meets with 900 of his closest pastor friends today, and priests and rabbis and imams and whoever. And the word that comes out of that is that he was A, quote-unquote, well-received, B, got 2 standing ovations, and C, who the hell wrote that speech, because we know it wasn't Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah, and his speech reading skills need some improvement.
Did you hear any of his speech? I mean, it was a closed door thing, so I'm not sure what was public, what wasn't. I've been gone, and we're actually taping this later in the day on Tuesday, so I'm a little behind the learning curve here.
I didn't, and I'm frankly. I don't know why I would watch it live. It's like Trump's going to speak. Oh, good. It's going to be a bunch of crap, and he's going to drool on himself and pat himself on the back, and he's going to read things poorly, and it'll be up on the internet in different segments soon enough that really, do I have to see it live?
Well, it wasn't live, so you spared yourself that. You didn't have to worry about that. It wasn't live. It was supposedly some well-known, not secret meeting.
Is that the same one where he questioned Hillary's commitment to her Christian faith?
I'm not sure if that was all part of that, or which of course is just bizarre. I mean, it's just bizarre. Where the hell this guy gets off questioning anybody's religion? Talking about, wouldn't it be a beautiful sight if you were at a bar and somebody pulled out a gun and somebody else had one coming the other way? That's a real Christian. Visual.
And the comment he made about the Orlando nightclub, right? If the people in the nightclub had been armed, that would have been a beautiful thing to see. That was even too much for the NRA. That there should be a firefight in the club because everyone's in there with guns. Do you want to know when the NRA, the last time they decided open carry wasn't a good idea? When the Black Panthers realized it was a good idea. That's when the laws changed and we got rid of open carry in this country.
By the way, you were really busy at 3:13 p.m. this afternoon.
Was I?
That's when you uploaded all of the audio.
Yes.
It's all time-stamped at 3:15, so you just must have gone bing, 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 bing.
Well, no, I recorded all the audio, and then I
said uploaded.
I know.
I
edited it. Then I uploaded them all at once.
How was your day?
It was okay. How was yours? Or should I even ask?
Anyway, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and I have been seeing this tiny hands pack having a lot of fun with Donald Trump and, release the measurements, which is just hilarious. You got to wonder if Marco Rubio at some point looks back at that, what was an offhanded remark at the time, and could have possibly fathomed that it would find its own pack.
Billionaires with tiny little hands pack.
No, you've seen the commercials, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No, it's just the tiny hands pack.
Didn't we play some audio the other day?
I don't think we did. I don't think we ended up playing it, but we don't need to. I mean, it's just fun.
Well, it's not like
Donald, release the measurements.
It's not like I have it.
You're right. It's not on the list I have. Ergo, it does not exist. If it's not on the list that I have, nope. Sorry.
And
let's begin.
Well, hold on, because the actual name of the pack is Americans Against Insecure Billionaires with Tiny Hands. That's the full name of the pack.
Oh, well, they don't. Thank God they don't promote it that way. Nobody would look. Let's start with the most disheartening news. Not that it comes as any surprise. Not that we didn't predict it. We did. 4 bills went before the United States Senate yesterday. 4 bills that really would have encompassed common sense gun control legislation in this country. 4 bills that probably wouldn't have passed the House, let's be honest about it. But that was really the cover that the Senate needed. And unfortunately, my good friend Richard Z. Zombeck, we'll never know, because the chances of Barack Obama signing meaningful gun control legislation before the end of his term are 0 and none.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Republicans basically voted. It was almost unanimous. There were 2 Republicans that didn't toe the party line, but it was for all intents and purposes, it was unanimous, and they basically voted for no background checks and to allow terrorists to buy automatic weapons, because nobody's rights, should be infringed upon when it comes to Second Amendment. We all have.
Did you see Senator Iote? Is that Iote? Iote? Is that Iote? Is that how you say it? She voted for and against everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she voted for stuff that wouldn't have mattered and against stuff that would have. Hello? Do you think we're not paying attention here?
I don't think. Tony. I mean, I don't think they care. I just really don't. And the thing, we know it's all about money, and that disgusts me even more. I mean, when you look at the amount of money that...
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It was a beautiful background music to an otherwise boring soliloquy by yours truly. When we... Like John McCain, something like $1.7 million from the NRA. Mitch McConnell, close to $1 million. Other ones with $35,000, $100,000, $160,000. Every single one of them has received a ton of money for their campaigns from the NRA. And, There's no question. There's no question what this is about. This isn't about protecting the Constitution. This is about, I received $1.7 million from the NRA, and I'm going to do whatever the hell they tell me to. That's what this is about.
It's just a sad state of affairs. And when I did my guest spot this morning with Angie Austin, she tried to take a swipe at me, a liberal swipe. And so, she started off by saying, well, I'm a conservative Christian soccer mom, gun owner, blah, 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 blah. So I said, what does you having to be a Christian conservative soccer mom have anything to do with you owning a gun? I know plenty of liberals that own guns. So why did you paint yourself that way? Well, I was going to agree with you that, we don't need to have people on the terror watch list get guns. I said, well, people on the terror watch list already can't get guns. And she just sat there and sat there and sat there. Well, you get the point. The other thing I'm getting tired of are lazy liberals who have been sharing this meme. Well, if we can't get the Senate to vote the right way when 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-olds are killed at Sandy Hook, they weren't 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-olds. They were first graders. And unless some of them were really stupid, and they weren't, there were no 9-year-olds in that classroom, Z. Yeah. What's wrong with people that they can't get simple facts straight? Well,
and that's the problem, right? I mean, that kind of when people make false arguments, it ruins the point. As far as I'm concerned, it's like if you're going to say something outrageous, or if you're going to put something in a meme, make sure, one, it's spelled correctly, and two, that it's factually accurate and that I don't have to look this up and tell you that you're a moron. And it's the least that you could do if you're trying to make a point. At least get your facts straight.
How about better yet, that you don't have to look it up to know that you didn't get your facts straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless the principal of that school was 9 years old. I saw that same meme so many times before 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah,
and I don't know, and I'm sure you didn't notice. I wouldn't expect you to notice. I didn't post on Facebook today, except for to share a cartoon. I was just disgusted. I really, there are just days where I don't want to participate in the buffoonery we call the United States of America. And the other thing is, and it took everything I had not to write this. I even wonder if I should say it.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the only way that the Senate and the House of Representatives will ever pass any meaningful legislation is if you're a Republican and it either happens to you or someone in your family. Ask Gabby Giffords.
Well, I think Gabby Giffords would have been for gun regulation before she got shot in the face.
Of course she would have. Z, it's amazing to me as we, how do you explain this to people, younger people? The cartoon I posted this morning was, in fact, let me just read it real quick because it's worthy of your time and others. It's from the Washington Post. Tom Tolles is just a great cartoonist. There's a picture of a hick-looking guy with an NRA shirt on, and he's at a gun store. And the balloon above his head says, "I want an assault rifle to battle U.S. tyranny." And the guy behind him is cloaked in a hood and a mask, and it says ISIS on the back of his jersey, and it says, "Make that too."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that one. That's a good cartoon.
And and then in the very bottom corner, which most people don't read, there's he opining, maybe what we need is a wait a second amendment. And then, of course, the picture that you chose for yesterday's show, the placard for yesterday's show, was great.
You like that?
Yeah, it was just, it was great.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, there are fewer hunters. Most young people don't use guns. Most women don't use guns. Most Democrats. So who's going to buy the guns? Anyway, well, we're not going to leave it there, but certainly, it was disappointing. Even though we knew the predictive answer, it was still disappointing. So tell me, who is Chris Cox? I know that he's somehow associated with the National Rifle Association.
Chris Cox is a spokesman for the National Rifle Association.
He's their Spox, as they say in the business?
I guess.
All right. Well, you've got some audio from him. Do you want to share it?
He's NRA spokesperson. He was on, I don't even remember what he was on anymore. ABC. He was on with Jonathan Karl. He's not only their spokesperson, he's the executive director of the NRA, Institute for Legislative Action. And he's talking about why civilians need to own automatic rifles. He doesn't have a good answer. Shall we listen?
Let's.
We also want to make sure that law-abiding Americans have the common sense ability to protect themselves when their government's failing.
So can we get back? One of the weapons that this killer had was this so-called Sig Sauer MCX. This is a military-style assault weapon. We've heard from Seth Moulton, who was 4 tours of duty in Iraq, that there is simply no reason for a civilian to own a military-style assault weapon. So help us understand.
Jonathan, I understand.
Why should ordinary Americans in the streets of our towns and cities have to have a weapon like that?
Tens of millions of Americans own guns for a variety of lawful purposes, but I understand that people, when horrific things happen, want to look at the weapon that was used. They want to look at pipe bombs in Boston. They want to look at firearms in Orlando. But the truth of the matter is those guns were banned in Paris, and it didn't stop that terrorist attack. They were banned in Brussels. They were banned in California, and it didn't stop San Bernardino. The point is, criminals and terrorists are not going to be deterred by one more gun control law when they're willing to walk into a gun-free club and commit murder with a firearm or with any other weapon. So it's again,
I understand your argument that it may not prevent these attacks, that it may not be effective, that it didn't work in Paris.
That's the point of this conversation, is how do we prevent the next one?
What I'm asking is just help us understand. Sure. Why do people need what have been branded weapons of war? Yeah. A weapon like that. Why are those needed on the streets of America? Why should those be legal?
It's a fair question, and it's fair to say, shouldn't we just try certain things? The truth is that it has been tried. It's been tried. We banned them internationally in Paris, and they still used full autos and hand grenades. We banned them in this country for 10 years. For 10 years, the reason was allowed to sunset is because an outside study was mandated when they passed the law, and it came back and it said there was no impact on crime from banning these weapons from law-abiding people. Again, the Second Amendment and the rights of law-abiding gun owners in this country is not the underlying problem. The problem is we have a failed policy when it comes to keeping the American people safe. That's what the CIA director said this week. The global spread of ISIS is stronger. We need to confront that problem, not take away the rights of law-abiding people. Those aren't mutually exclusive goals, Jonathan.
You're sitting on a $14 million war chest, campaign war chest. Are you going to use that to go after potentially Republicans if they get wobbly on this issue, if they support any of these bills that you are not supporting?
The truth is, with Justice Scalia's death, there are no longer 5 votes on the Supreme Court for the basic right to keep a gun in your home to defend yourself. Hillary Clinton believes the Supreme Court should overturn that case, believes that there is no individual right. So we're going to use that money to get out and communicate with gun owners across this country and people of like-minded, let them know what's at stake in this election. Will we be involved in Senate races? Absolutely. We'll be involved in races all across the country, and I'm confident that at the end of the day, the American people are going to understand that we have a God-given right to defend ourselves, that firearms are effective means of doing just that, and the politicians who want to divert attention away from the underlying problems and suggest that we're somehow to blame will pay a price for it.
And we're out of time, but I just want to quickly clarify. If Trump asks you to support the idea of an outright ban on sales for somebody on the no-fly list, on the terrorist list, would you budge on that? Would you change your position on this?
Our position has been the same consistently. We do not think that
you will not change.
We support Senator Cornyn's approach, which is to ban.
But if he asks, you're not going to change your position on this.
There is not a difference between what Mr. Trump is saying and what the NRA's position is. That's a media-created diversion there.
All right, Chris Cox, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jonathan.
I love how they always blame it on the media. This is the media's fault. Trump does the same thing. They're all liars. You're all a bunch of liars. So I've always kind of had this question, and I don't think I'm ever going to get an answer to it. But I understand the right to defend yourself. I understand the need to defend yourself. But what exactly is coming into your house or onto your yard that you need an automatic rifle that shoots 200 rounds a minute? What's coming after you? Are the Hells Angels coming to your house? And what's happening?
Well, if they are, I would suggest you call the police.
Yeah, well, no kidding. But I mean, seriously, what is happening in your neighborhood that you need an assault rifle? And why are you still living there?
Oh, my, oh, my. What have we devolved into? What have we devolved into?
I mean, and the thing is, Tony, too, is, and I think I've talked about this before, and I ended up just getting rid of this person on my Facebook page. She posted, it was like 2 days after the massacre, and she posted, I'm the person standing in the supermarket behind you with a gun tucked under my bra, and I'll be there to protect you if someone starts opening fire in the supermarket. Have you ever? Well, I know you have. You've seen when they talk to cops or the military or anyone who's actually been involved in a shootout, who's trained to be in a shootout, and the effect that it has on them, and the training that's required to do that. And I wrote back to her. I said, listen, not only are you not going to get your gun out, but you're going to crap your pants, and you're going to crap the pants of the person standing next to you. So, please, you'll be wholly ineffective if anything happens. What was the movie with Bruce Willis there? Die Hard. When Yippee-Yo-Yo Ki-Yay, when he's going up against the terrorist. Yep. I mean, who do these people think they are? They think that because they own a gun, just because they own a gun, they're going to be able to be Jason Bourne or something? I mean, where do people get this idea that all of a sudden, they took a couple classes at a shooting range with a pistol, and they went out and they bought an AR-15, that if anything happens, they're ready. They'll be right there to protect everyone. What they're going to do is they're going to wipe out an entire checkout line before they even get to the guy who actually had the gun.
It is a sad state of affairs, my friend. A very sad state of affairs. Let me ask you, we weren't planning on this discussion, but, sometimes the best discussions are the ones you don't plan on. Donald Trump is going to supposedly give a major speech tomorrow attacking Hillary Clinton. If you were to be advising the Clinton communications staff, here's what I think he's going to say. That Hillary Clinton's danger, the danger of Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State hurt our economy, and he'll find some way to say that in a way that only makes sense to him, but the uneducated and Huey Love will go, yeah, see, I told you so. He'll say things that are inappropriate. He'll say things that are not based in fact. He'll talk about her Wall Street connections. He's already trying to chum up to the Bernie Sanders supporters, as you're well aware. If you were advising the Clinton campaign, how would you advise them or her to respond to him?
Well, one, I would be live tweeting during his speech, and I would have facts and corroborating links at the ready to put up, and just be fact checking him the entire time. And,
as the campaign or as her? Because now you're living on his turf by live tweeting. You're living on his turf. Do you? So my I guess allow me to interrupt you a few times throughout this. Do you think that is the best way for her to do this, is to play on his turf?
Well, she already is. I mean, she's actually already gotten pretty good. The one where she tweeted, "Delete your account." And then another one, he said, "I will be the best for women. There's no one else here that would be as good for women as I could. You can't tell me anyone that would be as good as women." And the campaign, as Hillary Clinton tweeted back, "Hi." That was it. I mean, they've actually gotten pretty good at it, and they're getting snarky. They're getting, between Clinton, and I have some audio on that, whoever's writing her speeches is putting in some. I was watching it today, and she delivered a good line. She delivered it pretty well. It's the head nod and the grinning and the self pleasure that she seems to be getting out of it that I could do without. She needs some work on that. She just needs to deliver the line and let it sit. Instead, she nods her head and goes, "Yeah, that was awesome. I am so good at this. This was really good." I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And
yeah, but that's to you. The average person isn't seeing that. The average person, and I don't disagree with you, by the way. The average person is seeing that she's self-confident, that she is all the things that they wanted her to be. That she's not, tight, and she's not straight-laced, and she's not, just laying the one-liner and waiting for everybody to catch up with her. And there's some danger in either path, I think.
So that's one option, right? You live tweet during his event and you call him out on everything, or, you don't respond, or you do your own either, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram video responding to his BS line by line, point by point. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's probably a really good reason why I'm not a campaign manager or advisor. But if it were me,
all right,
I would live tweet and call him out on everything while he was talking.
Well, he's going to give a litany of one-liners that aren't based in any kind of reality at all. I mean, some of it's already leaked that, she's helped weaken the economy, that she will bring down wages. She had nothing to do with the economy. There isn't a single proposal that she has that would bring down wages. Is she attached to Wall Street? Yeah, and so is he. In fact, he's far more dangerous, as you and I discussed a week or so ago with Deutsche Bank and Chase and others, where he has very dangerous relationships. How can he? I guess there's still that part of me. I don't know what's the hell's wrong with me. There's still that part of me that says, how can he say this stuff with a straight face?
Well, this is the problem, right? Is a lot of the stuff he just makes up. So how do you combat that? How do you combat someone that is just perfectly okay with making stuff up on the fly and no corroboration, and people that like you are going to believe it and go, well, yeah, Hillary Clinton decapitated babies and put them on stakes in her backyard. I mean, well, we all know that. Donald Trump told us.
All right, so is it incumbent upon her to just do what you and I are finally seeing the mainstream media? You and I have been doing this for over a year now, but should she just say he's lying? I mean, can't she just say Donald Trump is lying?
Yeah, and that actually wouldn't be a bad idea, Tony.
He's lying, and let me tell you why. Let me show you why.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's segue, because I think that there is a nice segue here. You and I had a discussion about a half an hour before the show about the Trump organization, the business organization, collecting at least $6 million in royalties and fees and T-shirts and water and wine and rentals, room rentals, catering, that have all benefited the Trump business, the Trump brand. But he self-funded his primary. Richard Zombeck?
Right. Well,
he self-funded it all.
Well, and I have the numbers here. And this is according to the Huffington Post. Trump in May spent $423,372 for rooms and catering in Mar-a-Lago. $125,000 in rent and utilities to Trump restaurants, $35,000 on facilities rental and catering on the Trump National Golf Club, and $29,715 on facilities rental at catering at the Trump International Golf Club. So basically, he's spending campaign money on his own properties, and his properties are doing very well as a result. This is my favorite one. Is he paid an advertising firm $35,000. The address is 18 Crosby Lane, Londonderry, New Hampshire. It's a house. Do you ever watch Mad Men?
Yes, love that show.
Yeah, the name of the advertising agency is called Draper Sterling.
Knock it off.
I'm totally serious. As in Don Draper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name of the ad agency that he paid for campaign ads is called Draper Sterling. And it basically doesn't exist. It's a residential house in New Hampshire.
Yowza.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is starting to look more and more like a con. I mean, it's a gigantic, really good con. I mean, he has $1.3 million cash on hand right now in his campaign coffers, compared to there are people from the GOP that are no longer running that are collecting more money in May than Donald Trump's campaign did, and his $1.3 million doesn't really stack up against the $42.5 million that Hillary Clinton has.
Well, there are a lot of people inside the inner workings of the Republican Party, not just the RNC, but the greater Republican Party, that are extremely nervous about his fundraising efforts or the lack thereof. And in fact, what a great story in the Hill yesterday, where as a candidate you do what's called call time, which should seem obvious to those people that don't know what that is, but call time is simply time spent calling people asking for money. Donald Trump doesn't like doing it. No candidate likes doing it, even those that are good at it don't like doing it. All right? He doesn't like it more than most. And so he has, you'll love this one, he's got other people doing it for him. But there is no way to do this without the candidate doing it. of all the statistics that we could talk about, the 1.2 or 1.3 million he has versus Hillary Clinton's 42 million, the PAC's 50 million, et cetera, is that the Donald Trump for President Make America Great Again campaign has less money than almost 98% of every congressional race in the country. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you want another little fun fact?
Do tell.
Let me see. The Veronica Mars Kickstarter raised $5.7 million in 1 month's time, as opposed to what Trump raised, which was $3.1 million in May. Ted Cruz raised more in May, and he dropped out at the beginning of May. But the Veronica Mars movie Kickstarter raised more than $2.5 million more in a month than the Trump campaign did in May.
Wow.
And I have no idea what the Veronica Mars Kickstarter is, but apparently she wants to make a movie.
Well, good.
So,
all right. Let me.
Well, what
I
Raw Story did, what they wrote too, is just yesterday we upgraded Trump's campaign from being a dumpster fire to a landfill inferno.
What was the? I'm trying to remember the one-liner I heard the other day. The dumpsters went on strike this week. It'll come to me, but it was great. Something along the lines, dumpsters went on strike this week because people were throwing Trump for president garbage in there, and none of it would catch on fire. It'll come to me. I'm sitting here, and I'm speculating, as we often do. It's what we do, actually. There was an op-ed, and I don't remember exactly where it was at, but there was an op-ed that said that there were a handful of things Trump could do to revive his campaign. One of them was to give more policy speeches and less rallies. And another one was his VP pick. And I don't know that his VP pick is going to make a difference. You know, you and I had a little discussion about this yesterday. You know, who might it be, who might it not be, Tom Cotton, you know, whatever. I don't think it's going to matter, because at the end of the day, if Donald Trump can't be the guy, even if the guy's a gal, I don't think he wins. I don't think he knows how to win. I don't think his ego gets fed. I think that he would much rather go, I'd like to do VP by committee. Now, our Constitution, I'm not so sure, allows that. But I think that he would rather farm that out to a bunch of people than just give it to one. And he could justify it by saying, yeah, but look what I did. I gave 8 people a chance to be vice president, not just one. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
In the mind of Donald Trump. So, the last 2 weeks have not been good to your friend and mine, Donald Trump. And he continues, as you said, to blame the media. And in fact, you've got some audio that we should share with the audience. He was on Meet the Press, or maybe it wasn't Meet the Press. Anyway, he blames the negativity on the way he's treated.
On the Today Show. It's
it was on the Today Show.
Matt
All right,
Lauer
now,
and
so
Savannah Guthrie.
So that he still agrees to appear on their show after Savannah Guthrie really put the screws to him a couple of weeks ago is shocking in and of itself, but they do have a large audience. With that said, the same media that made him are now monsters?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Got you a lot of success during the primaries. Does this signal with him out that you're not going to do the let Trump beat Trump anymore, that you're going to change your tone for the general election?
I don't think so, Matt. I think I have to be who I am. I don't want to be a phony like a Hillary Clinton where she reads stuff that's written up by high-priced talent. I don't want to be that. I want to be what I am. And new polls just came out, and I'm right there. I'm right, with a horrible few weeks I have from the press. I mean, the press is treating me unbelievably unfairly. And with all of that bad press that I've had over the last couple of weeks, and believe me, that's manufactured press, 100%. I've had days where there should have been good deals and good days, and the press comes out negatively. With all of the press, I'm right there in the poll. CNN just announced the poll. I'm right there. Pennsylvania, Ohio, we're practically even.
We just mentioned those, and they're dead heats. Ohio, in fact, is tied. But let's talk about another measure of the last month that you've had, and that is campaign fundraising. The FEC, these federal disclosure forms came out and show you with the $1.3 million raised on hand, compared to $42 million in Hillary Clinton's war chest. Now, you understand money, the importance of money. It helps you mount a professional campaign, and it's a sign of whether people are supporting you. So how do you explain those lackluster results?
Okay, let me just tell you this. I understand money better than anybody. I understand it far better than Hillary, and I'm way up on the economy when it comes to questions on the economy. But we have a party that, I'm having more difficulty, frankly, with some of the people in the party than I have with the Democrats, because they don't want to come on. They will probably eventually come on. Honestly, if they don't, it's just fine. I can win it either way. I may be better off winning it the opposite way than the more traditional way.
Can you win it if she raises 42 times
Savannah, what you have? I've raised a lot of money, but you also have to have some help from the party. But I've raised a lot of money. We raised $12 million this weekend. I was in Texas. I was in Arizona. I was in Las Vegas. We raised a lot of money this weekend. I made like 4 or 5 stops, and I'm raising that money for the party. Now, if it gets to a point, Matt, excuse me, if it gets to a point, what I'll do is just do what I did in the primaries. I spent $55 million of my own money to win the primaries, 55. Now, that's a lot of money. By even any standard, I may do that again in the general election.
You just said you're having...
Excuse me, Matt. I have a lot of cash, and I may do it again in the general election. But it would be nice to have some help from the party.
Well, you just mentioned the party. So Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, after a lot of hemming and hawing, came out and said he would vote for you. Then on Sunday on Meet the Press, he sounded as if he was waffling a bit. He told delegates in the Republican Party that they should vote their conscience, which is not exactly saying get out there and vote for our nominee who will be Donald Trump. You said famously a long time ago that he'll support you, and if you don't have his support, he'll have problems. Does he have problems now?
Paul, first of all, he didn't say support me. He endorsed me. So did Mitch McConnell endorse me. With that being said, I'd like to see great support. And if I don't have great support, I'll go a different route. Look, everyone said you could never get to 1,237 delegates, and you know that better than anybody. They said you can't get to 1,237 delegates because there's 17 people in the race. That's the primary reason. I ended up at 1,570 approximately, 1,570, way above the 1,237 that people said you couldn't get. Now new polls just come out, and despite the fact that I'm being treated horribly by the press, I'm practically even with Hillary Clinton, and she had the best 2 weeks of her life.
All right, Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, we appreciate you on the phone this morning. Thank you
very much.
All right.
Where is he? This is what I'm saying. Where's he getting his information? He just makes things up as he goes along.
Well, that's where he's getting it. He's making it up as he goes along.
Hey, listen, I got I want to interrupt the train of thought here. We got a pledge on our Patreon page from Casey. Casey, I'd like to say thank you. I will be in touch to let you know when you can expect your TNZ Talk mug. A pledge of $10 or more gets you, a pledge of $10 gets you a mug, and then there are T-shirts also. So I just want to thank Casey for going to our Patreon page. For anyone else, you can go to tnztalk.com. You can find out how to support us. We do need the money. We can't do this for free for very long. And you can find out all the ways to support us by going to tnztalk.com and clicking on the support tab at the top of the page.
We're not out of time already.
No,
are
we're
we?
not. We're not. I just
right.
got an email. I just got an email from Patreon that Casey from Florida had pledged to our Patreon page.
Well, let me also thank Casey, as it's making me a little emotional, and I'm not joking. And yeah, I just I really did get a little emotional over that. Thank you. We love what we do. And I would say we would do it for free if we had to, but we are. And I don't say that for empathy or sympathy or any other reason, but it's certainly very much appreciated. And we can promise, Casey, we will not be buying a bottle of Trump wine with it. And absolutely will not. Before there are a couple other things I want to get to, but I've been meaning to ask you about this forever. You actually eat fairly healthy, and you do enjoy mixing it up in the kitchen, as do I. And so there was a story that crossed my desktop weeks ago, and I can't believe it's taken me this long, but I finally remembered. There is a company out of Los Angeles that has produced a plant-based product that looks like ground beef, that bleeds like ground beef, but it is a vegan product. And it won't come as any surprise to you what the redness in it is. It's beets.
Ah.
So my question to you is, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, do you really want your non-meat meat to bleed?
Well, that's true. That's a good point. But maybe it's to bring other people over to the dark side, you know?
Okay.
I mean, my brother actually made a very good point. And as you know, he recently turned 50 in April, and in May he had a heart attack, some blockage, and he was calling me from. He's in cardio rehab, and he was calling me from there, and he's talking about his diet, and his diet wasn't very good, and high cholesterol does run in my family, and he said, we were never meant to eat like this. I mean, most people, they had meat maybe every once in a while if they could go out and kill a rabbit or something, but mostly it was like vegetable stew, and he's absolutely right. Of course, we're talking back when people lived until they were 40. So, I don't know what I eat quite a lot of vegetables. I don't eat a lot of red meat. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I try to exercise, and I've been riding my bike every day, actually.
Well, I haven't read the article yet, but I did see an article today that I saved to Pocket that said the best cure is exercise. And then in parentheses it said for everything. By the way, the name of this company is in Northern California. They're called Impossible Foods. And amongst their backers financially are people like Bill Gates and other multi-gazillionaires. And gee, here's a problem you and I should have. The company's only raised, they actually have raised more money than both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump combined, and then some. The company has raised $182 million.
I don't even know what to say.
You just did. So we're going to play an Elizabeth Warren ad, but before we get to it, she is now talking very differently about perhaps being a VP consideration, saying, and I'm quoting her, she's intrigued by the possibility. And she wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago. So what do you make of this intrigue?
Well, that said, what I find very interesting is CBS was reporting yesterday or earlier today that the reporter who was writing it was saying that he had heard from a lot of people, because he also covers Wall Street, that a lot of Wall Street is warning Hillary Clinton that if she picks someone like Elizabeth Warren, or Elizabeth Warren for that matter, goes anywhere near her, she will not have their support. They're basically saying, nice little government you have here. It'd be a shame if anything happened to it. They don't like Elizabeth Warren. And apparently Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton don't really like each other either. And what this reporter was saying about what he's heard is they've approached Hillary Clinton and they say, listen, we understand that you've had to kind of appear to be more leftist because of Bernie Sanders. But if you pick Elizabeth Warren for your VP, you can forget about anything you want to do with infrastructure, anything you want to do with education, anything you want to do with health care. We will not support you, and we will do everything to stop you.
All right. Now, as you're well aware, Elizabeth Warren just happened to pop in last week to the Hillary for President headquarters in Brooklyn last week, and it was just, from what the video that I saw, and I didn't watch it all, was amazing. She just freaking wanted me to move to Brooklyn and just, hang out in case she showed up there again.
Yeah, she killed it.
She's amazing. She's just amazing. As you know, and I'm not going to name names, but I mentioned this to you last week, I happen to know somebody rather well-placed in the Democratic Party, not the DNC, the Democratic Party. And this idea that Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton do not like each other or get along is not true. Do they have their differences? Absolutely. Are they fairly obvious? Pretty much. But they have a great deal of respect for each other and would serve well together, in my opinion. I'm telling you right now, if Hillary Clinton were to announce Elizabeth Warren as her running mate, you could lock it down tomorrow.
Do you think?
I know. Just like I knew Donald Trump's candidacy would only last a week.
Crooked Hillary and Pocahontas?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I say that in jest. Don't anybody go looking for my email address.
Absolutely not. Let's play that before we run out of time. Let's play that the Warren ad.
I have to be honest. It is hard to talk about Donald Trump. Between his ignorance, his racism, his sexism, his lies, it is actually hard to know where to start. But we got to start somewhere. And today I want to focus on one lie that helps sum up what Donald Trump is all about. His taxes. We don't actually know what Donald Trump pays in taxes because he is the first presidential nominee in 40 years to refuse to disclose his tax return.
I believe there's a bombshell in his taxes.
There's a bombshell there.
Look, maybe he's just a lousy businessman who doesn't want you to find out that he's worth a whole lot less money than he claims. We just really can't know for sure. Here's what we do know. The last time Donald Trump's taxes were made public, it turned out that Donald Trump paid nothing in federal taxes. Zero taxes before. And for all we know, he's paying zero taxes today. And he's proud of it. A few weeks ago, he said that he's more than happy to dodge taxes because he doesn't want to throw his money down the drain. Yeah, Trump likes being a billionaire. And he doesn't think that the rules that apply to everyone else should apply to him. But let's be clear. Donald Trump didn't get rich on his own. His businesses rely on roads and bridges that the rest of us paid for. His businesses rely on workers the rest of us paid to educate, and on the great police force and brave firefighters the rest of us paid to support. Donald Trump and his businesses are protected by a world-class military that defends us abroad, keeps us safe at home, and the rest of us pay to support. When anyone builds something terrific, they should get to keep a big hunk of it, but they should also pay a fair share forward, so the next kid and the next kid and the next kid who come along will get their chance to build something too. That's how we build a future that works for everyone. And that goes double for Donald Trump, because we know how he got rich. He inherited a fortune from his father and kept it going by scamming people, declaring bankruptcy, and skipping out on what he owed. Nurses, teachers, dock workers, they pay their fair share for the services that keep Trump's businesses going. Programmers and engineers and small business owners, they pay their fair share to support courageous first responders. Donald Trump thinks that supporting them is throwing money down the drain. I say we just throw Donald Trump down the drain. Donald Trump is a fraud and a cheapskate, and he's a bully. And look, he's probably going to come up with a whole bunch of lame new nicknames for me just for filming this video. You know why he does that? He does it to intimidate, to threaten, to make us shut up. You and I know how to beat him. We don't back down. So here's what we need to do. Whatever Donald Trump says, whatever scam he tries to pull, whatever disgusting thing he thinks he can say because he's Donald Trump, speak out. Talk to the person behind you in the grocery store. Talk to the person pumping gas next to you. And yeah, share this video with your friends. Ask your Fox News-loving Republican uncle, why do you pay your taxes, but Donald Trump doesn't? If Donald Trump doesn't even believe in paying his fair share for government, we shouldn't put him in charge of the government. If we're going to build a future that's not just for the rich and powerful, but a future that's for everybody, then it's time for all of us to fight back.
All right, take us home, Z. I can't touch that. Take us home.
All right, the 411 on TNZ Talk. You can find us at tnztalk.com. You can find out how to friend us, follow us, and support us. Support us. That's where you can find out how to support us. And to contact us, there's also a number you can call, an email you can send, and we will play it or read it on the air if it is suitable, or really even if it's not. Again, we want to thank Casey. It really did mean a lot to us. I think we both got a little choked up that someone went over to our Patreon page and pledged a monthly donation to help keep us going. I know the amount seems, I don't know. I don't know if it seems high for two people to live. So that's the way it is. Go over to tnztalk.com, find out how to support us. Tony?
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody. We will be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, I want to thank again everybody. We'll look forward to Donald Trump's major lying riff on Hillary and see how she responds accordingly. In the meantime, again, our appreciation to Casey, to all of you. For Richard Zombeck, I'm Tony Trupiano, and as always, we ask that you be well.
Oh yeah, can you feel it? Just over the credits, just riffing now. Words and chords. Not the poetry and the real thing, but not bad for an ad-lib. Not good, but... And it's not long enough, so just do a little bit more. And that's nearly done. That's the final credit there. That's the end.